Global Business. Now, today I'm joined by, like a lot of people have been saying, a beautiful lady, someone who is a classic Eastern brand. I'm talking about Uwaoma Ifechelobi. I don't know if I got the last name right, but the founder of Belmond Cakes. Good morning. Welcome to Global Business.
Good morning, Chidubin. Thank you for having me.
It's our delight having you on our set.
I'm really glad to be here.
All right, great. So now you, like during the introduction, I mentioned about your brand being a very classic Eastern brand.
Thank
now,
you.
coming to the scope, we're talking about how to build some SMEs, and of course, also how SMEs can retain their workforce.
Oh.
Now, so can you just lead us through how it's been for you as someone who started business in this part of the Niger?
Okay, it's been a really interesting journey. I started really young. I think I was about 25 or less than 25 when I started, the business seriously, because I actually started as a younger person, a student in the university. And it's been a beautiful journey. It's been challenging sometimes, but there have been great lessons along the way. So now, if you want to start a business, you must know why you want to start the business. For me, I tasted a piece of cake that entirely changed my life. It was the best thing I had ever had.
Did you also credit the person that did the
sure,
cake?
Sugar Spice Drips. Then
you were still in contact with them?
I'm very much in contact with her. She is somebody I love with all my heart, because without her, I wouldn't be here where I am right now. So I tasted a piece of cake. It was so nice. And I said, the people of Nsukka, because at that time I was a student in UNN, I said, the people of Nsukka must taste this. They must be able to enjoy what I just enjoyed, experience what I just experienced. So I asked her to teach me how to bake.
Wow.
And she did. Then she was in final year. She was just about to leave.
She was also a student?
Yes, she was about to leave. And I was in second year. Interestingly, I had just changed from botany to nutrition and dietetics.
Oh, so it's still in line.
Yeah, and everybody was laughing at me at that point, saying that I was in school to learn how to bake and cook.
Cool.
So I took that opportunity and I started making money from the students, So after that, my youth service, I baked all through. I had to come back to Enugu to do my internship, because nutrition and dietetics is a medical course, sort of. And after the internship, during the internship, I knew it wasn't what I wanted to do. My heart, everything was still focused on, cakes, doing business. But I wanted to do it right. Okay. So after the internship, I moved to Lagos. I went to Faith Foundation, a business school. I believe in learning, being prepared in whatever thing you want to do. So I went to the business school where I was taught the foundation of business, which is still helping me till date. And there's something interesting that they do in that business school. They place you under a mentor, somebody already successful in your line of business. So the Oven Cake Craft Lagos at that point was my mentor, and we struck off a very good relationship. And at that point, at some point, she offered partnership. So we got into a partnership. If you remember, I don't know how long you've been in Enugu, there was a big brand, the Oven Cake Craft Enugu. Yes, that was because of the partnership. Some years down, we decided to, split.
More like, expand the franchise.
We had different interests at some point, so we decided to dissolve the partnership, and that gave birth to Belmond Cakes. Yeah, but Belmond Cakes was already in existence as a student, because that was the name I had in school back then.
Well, the name has,
yes.
You've always had the name.
So I just, brought that back to life. Yeah.
So now, amazing story there. It just tells me one thing, the beauty and the fact that we need to be very good with documentation. Saying it is just, you bought some butterflies. Like, I had to be thinking back, and can you remember how some of those things happened? But moving on, talking about the ecosystem now.
Okay.
Can you lead us through the baking industry, the ecosystem, basically, as I know that it is, well, I say challenging industry.
It's a really challenging industry right now. So the baking industry is an interesting one now. I remember a few years ago, a bag of flour was 8,000 naira. Right now, it's almost 30,000
should
naira.
be like how many?
50 kg.
50 kg.
Yes, it was 8,000 naira, or even less. Right now, a bag of flour is almost 30,000 naira. There was a time we bought at 30,000 naira, but right now I think it's about 20-something. A bag of sugar used to be 7,000, 8,000. Now it is 34,500, or even more. I'm talking about the last time we bought. You know, so the increase in price has cut across every ingredient. You know, it has also cut across fuel, diesel, you know, so our cost of production is so high, and we know that generally people are going through tough times now. The cost of production is high. It has affected our, you know, prices, and people don't even have the money to purchase the goods.
And it might seem like a challenge.
It's a big challenge, but you know, it has also brought in some creativity. Now we have the bento cakes, the smaller cakes that people can go for. You know, we have other options, friendlier options for people that may not be able to, you know, afford our regular products. So it's been tough. But we believe that things are getting better. Well, things will get better soon.
I love the positivity in there now. So, in between, do you think some of them are, you know, government, you know, regulations that also influence the prices? Then, also in line with that, can you tell us through about how you've managed all through these years? You know, there's something about, you know, some people, especially in the Southeast, there's a wide speculation that is very prevalent in the Southeast, that most times in the Southeast, when you start up a business, most of the people who pioneer some of those businesses, who helped you grow them, on the long run, they'll leave. So now, I'd like you to lead us through that route. Is it like, is a deficiency that has to do with, you know, the leadership? Or is something that is prevalent with a certain people? Or will I call it Iwa boy, like we always say, like the Igbo apprenticeship system, where people have to grow, and when they say, okay, yeah, now I think I'm self-sufficient, I can now go on to expand and do mine.
Okay, so business people, we are very emotional. Okay, so we employ people. They're working, especially when it comes to skill-based business. You're transferring so much knowledge, and you train this person, and maybe after 6 months, 1 year, the person decides to leave. Now, let's look at the multinationals. They employ the best brains, right?
Sure.
But they still put them through training, and they still leave. You're working in a place, you are getting better, you're growing, and then a bigger company wants you. But then for a small business, we're so emotional, and when people want to leave, you know, we start feeling bad about it. But the truth is that in as much as you have your own dreams, these individuals have their dreams.
Sure.
And as a business owner, you should help them achieve their dreams or get closer to their dreams. So yes, they will leave, but please go ahead and train them. Because if they don't leave, the training you've given them will affect your business positively. But you know, if you say, okay, no, so after training this person, she will now go, you know, if you come from that angle, you will see that things will be getting bad within. Okay? So it's important that we realize that when you train your people, you're investing in them, which will affect your business positively, and they will never forget you, even if they leave. It's a big...
So it's more or less a situation of impact now.
Yes, it's impact. One other thing is that in small businesses, you see people leave without notice. And I think it's usually the fault of the business owners. Most small businesses don't have structure. There are no policies. People just get employed and they're expected to know what to do. You know, if you employ someone and the person knows that, okay, if you work for a certain number of years, you have this benefit. If you want to leave and you do it properly by sending in a resignation letter maybe 3 months or 2 months before, you'll be sent forth in a really good way, or you'll go with a package. They will want that, you know. But most times, when somebody says, I want to leave, you may decide to cut off everything that the person has been benefiting from the business because you're upset. why would you leave after everything I've done for you? No. We shouldn't be emotional about, these things. They are individuals, they have dreams, and you should allow them achieve their dreams. That's the way I see it.
Now, I would have loved us to talk extensively about the scope, but, for want of time, we might just start wrapping up. But This is one thing I want to know, how you will manage with compliance and how you manage, some of the resources you have as a young, I wouldn't call Belmond a young company now. So now, how do you manage, especially your human resources, and how do you also do with compliance and your level of patronage, as reacting to what you mentioned about the fact that most people around now, that there's a hike in some of the materials that are used. So now, how do you still maintain some of your customer base where, in as much as they know there's a hike, they still try as much as possible? That's away from the packs that you also offer.
Okay, so we buy things in bulk. We try as much as possible to buy things in bulk, because when you do that, it saves you a lot of money, like a whole lot of money. And then when you do that, even if there's a rise in price, it doesn't affect you immediately. So there's time for you to, reach out to your customers and tell them that prices will be increasing at a particular time. Okay, and then for our staff, the way we try to retain them is that when they come in, we try to put them through an onboarding session, get them to understand what we stand for, our values, our culture. We respect them. We go all out to let them know that there's something we always say when we employ our people. We tell them that your life will never be the same again after you've worked at Belmond Cakes. And it's true, because apart from teaching you the skills, apart from correcting you on the regular things related to cakes or bread, we teach you values. We try to help you become a better citizen. So these are some of the things because they're human beings. True. When you respect a human, you go all out. Your staff are your number one customers. They're the greatest asset that any business has. Without them, you can't do the things that you do. They're your hands, they're your legs. Your customers may never meet you, but they'll meet that staff that is out there.
Like I did. I met one of your staff.
So if a customer meets an unhappy staff, what happens? The person leaves with a bad impression. And the person is not saying Chinelo was rude to me. The person will say Belmond was rude to me. Sure. I didn't have a good experience when I went to Belmond. So these people are a part of you. So you must position them well to represent you well. They are your ambassadors. So treat them the way you treat yourself and the way you treat a valued customer. So
now, as we begin to round off, it's just like a summary now.
Yeah.
Like I said, I apologize because of the time we spoke, but I think we still hope to have you within your busy schedule.
Thank you so much.
So now, something very, very salient. Where do we see Belmond in 5 years? Now, also give us a brief counsel to some other people who are out there who just got to know about you, or who have always been a fan to you, who have heard about, like me. I'm a fan too, by the way.
You.
But like talking about people who also want to delve into some of the ecosystem where you influence. What can you tell them at this moment? What's your charge to them, to understand how it is? Because some people might have some reasons to want to delve into business. So tell us what you feel and what you should tell them at this moment.
Okay, at this point, I would say that as business owners, we have one enemy. We all have a common enemy, and that enemy is fear. So we must do everything to defeat fear. We must fight fear. Fear can cripple you. You may have big dreams, you may have great ideas, but when you dwell on the possibilities of it not working out, when you dwell on the possibilities of it failing and people laughing at you, you will never be able to do anything. So I would say to you, face the fear. The fear may never go away. It will always be there. But you can confront it, you can overcome it, and you can be successful.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Uwaoma Ifechelobi. Thank you very much for joining us on Global Business.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.